Monica asked. Okay, so Monica sent us an email actually yesterday. And Monica said, hello, my name is Monica, and my granddaughter and I are moving to New Zealand in a couple of months. That's exciting. We have been working and saving this for the last 3 years, and we are finally making this dream our reality. We have been watching your videos and have learned so much. Thank you. We were wondering, as a first-timer living abroad, where should we stay till we learn our way around? Thank you so much for your time. Well, you're very welcome for our time. And all right, so basically you're moving to New Zealand, you want to live the New Zealand life, and you're a little bit scared right now, so you don't want to go too far off the beaten track. That's basically what we understand.
Yeah.
So here's what we would do if we were you, okay? The first thing, I don't think you should be staying in Auckland. Just because, first, Auckland is extremely expensive. Second, Auckland absolutely does not represent New Zealand whatsoever. I mean, a lot of you guys which are literally watching us right now, if you've been to New Zealand already and you've been to Auckland, does it look like the rest of New Zealand or not? I'm pretty sure the majority of people right now would say no, or they're going to want me to be wrong and say yes. But it doesn't really. It's just yet another big city, and that will not help you acclimate whatsoever to life in New Zealand, because usually when you leave Auckland and you go somewhere else, then you have to acclimate to a much different pace of life, much different availabilities of stuff. So you've got to know that it's so important to not stay in Auckland if you want to acclimate and learn the Kiwi life. So this is what we think. You should get out of Auckland as soon as you can, save yourself some money, and start learning more about the Kiwi life. But you're still going to want something which is big enough so you actually can kind of acclimate and slowly ease into the different pace. And so for that, we have selected 4 cities for you. And the first one on our list will be Wellington. Let's show it to you. Up here you go. Wellington is right here. This is where Wellington is, and this is New Zealand's capital city. Now, one of the good reasons to stay in Wellington is because if you do move to a new country and that's starting a new life, you probably will need to do a lot of paperwork, and the administrative capital of the country is Wellington, so that makes it really easy.
Yeah,
it's a really nice city to live in. It's a very kind of cultural place. There's a lot of like cafes and stuff, so it's a very enjoyable kind of city life. So it is not that cheap, but if you get around the suburbs, like you can go up to around here and still have trains that go down to Wellington in about like 45 minutes. So it goes up to Martinborough, if I'm correct, which is around here. So so you actually can be to one of the greatest suburbs to Wellington, save a lot of money on the cost of living, and be able to enjoy all the amenities of living in New Zealand's capital city.
Yeah.
Plus, you are very close to the ferry, so if you ever have the needs or the feeling of going to the South Island, you can go to the South Island in just a heartbeat, which is really good. And next up, it also has one of the major airports, so that means that you may be able to literally land in Wellington, or if not, flying from Auckland to Wellington would cost you very, very little and would be extremely available, meaning that you can literally just see the Auckland airport and get out straight away. So this is why we decided that this would be the first one that we suggest to you. Now for the next one, Laura, we have Rotorua. Do you want to tell us a bit about Rotorua?
Yeah, so if you still want to sort of stay in the North Island, just to make it clear, obviously, because if you are moving to New Zealand, the North Island is the most populated island, and that's where you'll find, there's the most services, the most transport. It actually has a very different feel to the South Island. So if you are wanting to stick to the North Island and have still those access to many different types of cities, then I'd say that Rotorua is a good place to base yourself. First of all, it is in pretty much the center of the North Island, so you can, access Auckland, it's quite a long drive, but access Wellington, and there's lots of different cities surrounding it. And the cost of life in Rotorua, as we mentioned in the previous question, is actually pretty low, so it's definitely affordable to start off when you are first arriving in New Zealand. And on top of all that, there's actually so many different things that you can do around Rotorua. There's lots of different hikes that you can do. There's the Maori culture, there's lots of geothermal parks, a lot of adventure activities. So you'll get a real good taste of what New Zealand is all about in the surrounding Rotorua area. So definitely, if you want that North Island experience and to see what the North Island is like, then basing yourself in Rotorua is a really good place. And also, when we say Rotorua, you don't necessarily have to base yourself right in the city of Rotorua. There's a lot of much smaller towns around it, which would be also cheaper to stay in, but just a close drive to all those necessities and services that you will need to access when you are just starting up your life in New Zealand. Shall we move on to some of the South Island?
Come on, we should suggest some South Island.
Yeah, so again, if you want to just experience what the South Island's like, then a good place to start off is Christchurch. So it's around here somewhere. Yeah. Do you want to talk more about Christchurch?
Yeah, of course. So in Christchurch, obviously, it's the largest city on the southern end, so you get all the amenities of city life. It has a major airport, so same thing, very easy to get to, or even to land in, which is quite good. Plenty of job opportunities, plenty of administration, so paperwork, working. Cost of life is actually quite low, which is really good. And there is absolutely stunning things to do between the Southern Alps, the Banks Peninsula, Kaikoura, all of that within only a couple of hours drive. It is definitely a place worth considering. Plus, the fact is that there was an earthquake in Christchurch, but again, New Zealand is really good with earthquake, very low casualty rate compared to other countries and everything. But a lot of people left Christchurch. That means there are a dire needs of immigrants coming to Christchurch. So there is so much opportunity. You're going to be so welcomed. It is so good to go and start your life in Christchurch. Honestly, it is a really amazing place. We find that Christchurch is such an underrated city, and it's definitely worth going and living in Christchurch. Plus, if you're going with your granddaughter, well, you're probably the type of person that love a nice little walk in the park, and so it's the garden city of New Zealand. Daughter. Oopsie.
Yeah. But anyway.
Oops.
Same difference.
But yeah, there's a lot of parks, so just the lifestyle in Christchurch is really cool because it's a garden city. So how many parks they have?
I actually don't know the name, but I mean how many?
It's tens and tens and tens.
Many,
there's really a heaps of parks, including the beautiful botanic garden, which is gigantic. We have a video about that if you want to check it out. So just the pace of living, the quality of life in Christchurch is really good. So I would definitely consider Christchurch as well.
Yeah.
Just because basically, so far in my opinion, it does have the advantages of both of the other one as well, because it's so easy to go everywhere, because it's so easy to do all the paperwork and all of that. So that would be a very good place. But the last one we're going to suggest you, because we don't want to overwhelm you with too many suggestions, would be Wanaka. What do you like about Wanaka, no?
Yeah, so the good thing about Wanaka is that it's sort of in the heart of all that beautiful South Island scenery that I'm sure you've seen loads of pictures of. It's surrounded by mountains, lakes. So, if you want to actually feel like you're living in that perfect postcard picture, then Wanaka is a good place to go. It's nearby Queenstown, which we wouldn't really recommend for you to actually start your time in New Zealand because that's more expensive, but a good alternative is Wanaka because it's a little bit more affordable and a lot quieter, but still bearing in mind that it is a touristy place. So that does mean that the cost of living is a little bit higher over there. So you're still going to have to pay your sort of tourist rates for all your food and groceries and things like that. Rent it's obviously a desirable place to live in. So the cost of rent is quite high, but there is some even smaller towns around Wanaka. I hope I pronounced this right, but Hawera. Yeah. So there's a few smaller towns that you could try out around that area. Or in the region of Otago, which is sort of where Queenstown is based, all the way up to the coast where Dunedin is. So all that area has loads of little small towns which would be more affordable, but you still feel like you're in the awesome New Zealand scenery, which I know that most people come to New Zealand is because it's such a beautiful place. So if you could, you would love to be surrounded by beautiful scenery. So that's but for things to do around Wanaka, obviously there's a lot of hikes. There's the lake, so you can, a lot of people own paddle boards and kayaks around there, so they go kayaking and things like that. And it's also got a lot of adventure activities. There's skydiving. Obviously, you don't want to spend all your money straight away on those sort of things, but there is that option to do that. And it's also sort of a ski field town in winter. So if you're into skiing, there are nearby some ski fields that you can go and do that as well. So there's a lot of action-packed stuff that you could be doing around Wanaka.
All right, so this will be our 4th suggestion. If you did find that useful, Monica, click like, click subscribe, make sure to leave us a comment and tell us if that's what you wanted to hear or not. And if you guys have any questions, like, subscribe, come on, be cool. We're gonna go through the live chat right now.